Sagittarius, how are you? Let's do a reading for your current energy, shall we? As always, please take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story. So I sure appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button right there. Blink. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really makes a difference to my channel. And I would love to see my channel continue to grow. So, listen, Sagittarius, I feel you're at a point where something's got to come to an end. I think you are ready to embark in a new direction. This is in your recent past. I think you're faced with that decision of, wanting to end, maybe an old way of life, and move on to something that would fulfill you a lot more, because here we do have the Four of Cups. Sometimes the Four of Cups can indicate, a sense of boredom, and not really feeling, like you've got everything you really need in order to be happy and whole. There is the Fool card coming in the reverse, so maybe right now is not the time to make a move. But I do definitely see that you are formulating this. And then here again, we have another decision that we need to make, because, when we have the Two of Pentacles, we are trying to, make our lives work, but maybe you're just not satisfied. I mean, I just feel like you're just not satisfied. And I think you are really ready for something new. Here you come out as the Knight of Wands. It's very Sagittarian energy, as wanting to go out and have fun and have a good time. And, you want your life to be a little bit different than what it's been. Here the Moon cards come in as your final outcome. And I feel like you're ready to go down another path that might be calling you, that you have put off. Anyway, that's for some Sagittarians. I'm just feeling this need for you to step into who you really are. I mean, we are in the year of the snake, right? And this is the shedding of an old skin and a new one. And I think you, Sagittarius, are really feeling that shedding of a skin. And with that comes these decisions of like, this isn't, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want it to end. I want a bright new day to shine forth. I want to be happy. I just feel so disappointed. Maybe I need to move. Maybe I need to go somewhere else. I just feel as if you're reevaluating your life, and what you could do next, instead of what, is going on, so that you feel more fulfilled. Because right now, Queen of Pentacles over here, you're not feeling very stable in the life that you have. When we have this card showing up, this is somebody who, is usually very, very solid. You can count on them, has a lot of keys on their keychain. They're very responsible. Everything gets done. And, here you're just not feeling that, and the way your life is going, you need a little bit more stability, but you also want to enjoy yourself, right? It's just like this balance. This is, but you're at that point where you've got to make some decisions, and I think you need to make them sooner than later. Right now, this new decision you want to make here, we've got you coming out here with the Queen of Swords coming in reverse. Be careful of, somebody with this King here coming in like this. I'm just wondering whether this Ten of Swords, you have been dealing with someone who, may have an edge to them. A lot of times the King of Swords can have a sharp tongue. This is somebody who's very quick-witted, very knowledgeable in what they do. They're smart, and with that can come a sharp tongue. And I'm just wondering whether or not there's somebody in your circle or somebody you deal with that is like that, I feel like this week you want to avoid them. You don't want to deal with them because, you're in this place where you're trying to figure out your life, and you don't need somebody, to be making you feel bad about who you are and what you're doing, what you're thinking. So when it comes to this King of Swords, I feel as if, this is somebody that you may really want out of your life. And I don't know who this person could be. Usually the King of Swords, they're in some kind of like professor, or, they're, in the intelligence, some kind of thing. It's just somebody who, they think they know more than you, for sure. But, something's definitely calling you, all right? The Moon card here. It's calling you to make a big change and a big shift. And I think people like this King of Swords is part of that, you don't want people like this. These aren't your people. This doesn't feel good to you. But there's also a hesitancy for you to actually make a move. So it's just, this is not over, all right? You have to decide to end this. You have to decide that you want to move in another direction. You have to decide that you want to make something of your life where you're not working 3 or 4 jobs trying to make ends meet, where you work one good job and, you know, have the stability that you want. You know, but here with this Knight of Swords, I don't see you aggressively going after that, even though you know that's what you want, you know. So maybe there's some fears that are holding you back, or some resistance, or the fact that this person, you know, this is not over yet, because the Fool reversed says, don't do this just yet. I think you need to really be clear of, you know, this energy here of this King of Swords. And, you know, the King of Swords could be you. I mean, this could be all of your thoughts of what's holding you back, you know, from actually moving forward and doing what you really want to do. But let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. No, I feel like this King of Swords is somebody that, you know, you have a bone of contention with. All right, we've got 2 people here not getting along. You know, so again, I feel as if, you know, before you make any moves or any decisions, you have got to clear the air with this energy here, with this person, this situation. And I think, you know, like I said, I feel like words were said, mean, you know, like sharp, mean words came out in this conversation or this argument. And maybe that is what has propelled you to say, you know, maybe it's time for me to move on and make this decision. You know, because something is pulling you. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, we have to look at our life and say, maybe this is what, you know, the universe, God, whatever is telling me, you know, that maybe I shouldn't do this. I mean, I was offered a job the other day, you know, and from the moment I was offered the job, all kinds of walls started to go up. You know, I mean, I had to get onto this portal, to this website. I couldn't do that because it said that I had this thing and I didn't have this thing. And, you know, then they made a phone call and that didn't happen. And then they didn't call me back. So then I called them back and said, do you know what I mean? Like when something is like so hard, it's just like, maybe it's just not meant to be. And I think, you know, this is one of those things, you know, this kind of energy that you have been trying to make work with someone, and it's just been really, really hard and difficult. You know, where now, you know, everybody feels funny and awkward around each other. I mean, I feel as if, you know, you're at the brink of making a change, but not yet. All right, so listen, that's what I got for you, Sag. I don't know what this means. Maybe you do. Please take what works, leave what doesn't. All right, we all know who we are in this story. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button. All right, right there. Blink. All right, be happy, be happy, be healthy, be kind. Watch your words, all right? Because I do feel, you know, words could be spoken. And remember, all right, Sagittarius, once something comes out, we can't take them back, all right? You know, so watch yourself. You can't watch the other person, but you can watch yourself.